my channel. On this nice and cozy day, I wanted to take some time out and give you guys thanks for being such great support on my channel and helping me help you guys. So a couple of days ago, I decided to jump back on the Instagram, and in celebration of that, I posted a video saying that I would be answering up to 5 questions in my next YouTube video, which is this one. And I decided to choose one email that I really feel like are probably questions that a lot of people seem to ask me, and I chose 3 messages off my actual Instagram account. So I want to give each of these people a shout out, not to mention all of you guys who continue to support me and leave countless comments. I do try and reply to a lot of comments, but at the same time, there is a lot of negativity on my YouTube page too, and I don't like to surround myself with negativity, so often I find myself deterring away from that. So without further ado, the first email I'm going to answer is from Rainice Q. I don't know if that's your real name, but if it is, that's pretty badass. So I'm just reading the question off my screen. So the first question was, which country was the first country you did move to, and did you move alone or with someone you knew? The first time I moved to a country, I would say, was to Germany. I was about 18 years old, and I was offered an internship in public relations. I did move there alone. I didn't know anyone except the lady who had offered me the internship, and it was a very interesting experience because I was in a very small town. I worked in a town called Essen, and I lived in a town a little bit bigger called Düsseldorf, which a lot of you may have heard of. Did I find a job before I moved to the country, or did I fly there? So like I said, I was offered an internship, and that's how I sort of began sort of moving to countries. My dad actually got us traveling when we were really, really young. The first time I traveled, I think we went to England, and I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. So I've been traveling as far as I can remember, or as far back as I can remember, and it's been really, really great. So was your first job already professional? It was professional. I worked in an office, and I think it was very, very intimidating when you're only a teenager and you're in a country where people don't even speak English. And it was a really, really great experience. I got to learn a lot, and yeah, I wouldn't take it back. I think that sort of set a very high precedence for my future travels and journeys, and I think everything thereafter felt a little bit easier. Weren't you scared that you would fail to get a job in a complete different country where you didn't know anything? Did you have a backup plan if something would go wrong? I think this question would apply more to when I moved to Australia. When I left Canada and moved to Australia, I didn't have a job. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have a job offer. I sort of just went there with the goal of continuing to be a personal trainer, which ties into the next question, which I will answer shortly. I didn't have a backup plan. My plan was to be a personal trainer. There's no backup plans for me ever. If I set myself to do something, that's just what I do, and I ask a lot of, if I can't get it now, then how do I get it? What do I need to do? And I just set myself up for that plan. Is there a slight possibility that someone who goes to Canada blindly and doesn't get a job, could he end up on the street? No, I don't believe that. I think that if you're coming into Canada, you should come in with some amount of money to help you at least the first month or two. My friend just moved here from another country, and I always tell people that if you're moving into a country where you don't have a job opportunity, where you don't know anyone, come with at least 3 months to be able to sustain yourself. You know, at this time, for example, it's Christmas time, so it's a lot harder to get a job right now than it would be maybe like in the summer or something like that. And again, it also depends on what kind of work you're into. Like if your job is to be Santa Claus, then this is a perfect time to come. But make sure you bring at least 3 months of income to fall back on. Make sure you have a place to stay. Even if you don't have a job, make sure you have somewhere to live, whether it's a hostel, a hotel, whatever you can afford, and make sure it's reliable. Don't book something off of Craigslist or Kijiji and then, you never hear back from them and you lose your money. So hopefully I'm able to answer your questions. Rainice Q, and a lot of questions are in line with a lot of the emails that I had gotten. So let me just grab my phone, and I have the next question, which is help. This is from Fitness Lab PH, and the question is, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out as a trainer in Melbourne. What stuff do I need to take? Is it easy to find clients? How's the pay as a trainer? I think when you want to work as a trainer in Australia, a personal trainer, you need to make sure that you are accredited with Australian personal training, and you need the insurance and CPR. I think the institute is called Fitness Australia, and that's where you have to go and register. My accreditation was through Canada, so I had mine through CanFit Pro, and I was able to transfer it over, but I had to show them all the courses that I had done, and they were able to compare it. It did take, again, I think it took me about 6 weeks to get the whole carryover process done. In the meantime, I did my CPR and all that sort of stuff. The pay is what you want it to be. I know trainers in Australia who earn $20 an hour. I know trainers in Australia who charge $120 an hour. Ultimately, it depends on what kind of area you live in, what your client base is like, what sort of training service you provide. If you're a lot more specialized, you can obviously charge more. But if you are a more generic starting off trainer, you can't charge as much because there is a lot more competition. What do you need to take? You need to take your certification. If you're coming from a country where your certification was not in English, you need to get it translated, and you need them to write out basically like a whole list of courses that they've taught you and what those courses entailed. If your courses were not in English, I believe you need to also take an English proficiency test like IELTS or whatever that stuff is called. Okay, then I have a question from Arjun_07. Again, I want to give him a shout out because he commented on one of my other photos where I said I would give a shout out to anyone who commented. So, the Toronto versus Vancouver, I had posted in terms of Toronto versus Vancouver, what are your questions? Now, he's asked me a lot of questions: cost of living, racism, obstacles in getting a job, quality of life, and the wonderful things about the two cities that I like. I really think that would probably require me to make a whole new video on its own, and I have been getting a lot of content from Vancouver that I want to talk to you guys about, and I think Vancouver is an absolutely beautiful city. Would I move there? Probably, but I really do think that it's very expensive, and the culture in terms of even just the people is very different to Toronto, and I think that applies to no matter where you go in the world. You could be in one city and you can go from one corner to the next, and it's a different vibe. Cost of living, I think, is very, very high in Vancouver. The racism thing I am going to talk to you guys about in my next video, which is a comparison of Toronto and Ottawa. So stay tuned for that as well. So hopefully I give you guys a lot of stuff to sit back and listen to, and hopefully not fall asleep to over the weekend. But you know what? I don't judge you. Just have a drink and watch it, give it a laugh, give it a like, and share it. So anyways, so that's another thing. And then I think the last question was Mon Ifyemi. The question is, I love to move to Canada for studies. I am from Nigeria. How will I go about it? I think I did a video on how to move overseas as a student, and I think Ifyemi, if that's your name, that is probably the video you should check out. I will try and find it and link it down below. Not that I have that many videos, but I will do that for you. The best place to start for that is to know what program you want to study, and then start looking for institutions that offer that program. So, I mean, let's say you want to study at the University of Toronto and you want to study mime. I don't know, right? I just thought of mime because it's funny. And the school does not offer the program, then obviously you can't even consider applying there. So, find the program you want to study, and then look at the schools in Canada that are offering the program, and then look at the admission requirements and take it from there. If you need to do, again, an English proficiency exam, you might need certain grades in high school, or, you know, I don't know how old you are. And if you have any other transcripts, etc., it really helps you out. So, yeah, you just kind of have to go through the admission process, and hopefully you are able to move to this beautiful country. So, I didn't want to make my video more than 10 minutes long, and it's already over 11 minutes. So I want to thank you guys so much for sending your questions. I am going to try and answer your questions again. Lately, I have been answering 1 or 2 questions every now and again on Instagram, and I have been posting on there a little bit more because I want to gauge a bit better what you are looking for and accordingly provide you with that. If you have any special requests over the holiday season, please send them to me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. There is enough hate, there is enough negativity in the world. I think we need to promote more self-love. We need to promote more strength and happiness towards other people, as well as support. Please be kind to one another. And I know Ellen says that on her show too, and I think it's a very, very simple motto to live with. Spread love, spread strength, think strong always, and I will talk to you guys again very soon. Take care. Bye.